U.S. Senator John Husted, and it's been reported that you gave him something like $117,000 in donations. Is that correct?
I don't know how much money I gave him.
It's recently reported that you gave him $117,000 sometime shortly before he voted no on releasing the Epstein files. Would that sound familiar? Did you or any of your representatives ever lobby Senator Husted or anybody else in the federal government to prevent the release of materials related to Jeffrey Epstein? Thank you, Mr. Wexner, for your testimony here today. Just wanted to start with a question around U.S. Senator John Husted, and it's been reported that you gave him something like $117,000 in donations. Is that correct?
I think you mean John Husted.
I'm John Husted, yep.
I don't know how much money I gave him.
Would that sound about right? It's a substantial sum.
Well, I'm thinking I met John when he was a state representative. I'm sure I helped him. I helped him politically when he ran for lieutenant governor. I probably contributed to senatorial campaigns. So is it possible over time I would have given him that much money? It is.
Well, let me maybe be
but
more
I don't
accurate.
remember.
I think it's recently reported that you gave him $117,000 sometime shortly before he voted no on releasing the Epstein files. Would that sound familiar?
No.
No? Did you or any of your representatives ever lobby Senator Husted or anybody else in the federal government to prevent the release of materials related to Jeffrey Epstein files?
Absolutely not.
Did you or your representatives ever request that the Department of Justice redact your name in any files?
No. Absolutely not.
Wanted to move on. Now, I remember the document we referenced a little earlier mentioning former Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Did you ever have a relationship with the former Prime Minister?
Can you define relationship?
Sure. Any relationship? Do you know Prime Minister Barak? How, if so, could you elaborate on how familiar you were with him?
Well, I was only with him a couple or three times in my life. I happened to be in Israel when he was elected, but before he was sworn in as prime minister. We had a brief meeting in his political office. It wasn't the government office. May have met him in Israel when he was prime minister, but I don't recall. I know that I had dinner with him and I think his wife and daughter and Abigail in New York after he was out of office, I think. I don't think he was prime minister.
Did you ever communicate with the Prime Minister outside of personal meetings, phone calls, emails?
He came here once, I think, for Jewish community stuff, and we went to a football game. That's all I remember.
Did you ever communicate by email or phone call or other correspondence?
No, I don't think I ever had his address or phone number or email address or text number or whatever.
Are you aware of the Wexner Foundation or any other trusts or foundations or organizations affiliated with you ever donating money to the former Prime Minister?
No.
Would it surprise you if I told you that an FBI report stated a report that the Wexner Foundation transferred at least $2.3 million in U.S. dollars to former Prime Minister Ehud Barak?
Shocked.
Shocked. Okay. I want to move to a different topic here. Are you familiar with a gentleman named Richard Adrian?
Who?
Richard Adrian.
No.
Do you remember anybody being a bodyguard from you by that name?
No.
No? 1991 to 1992?
No.
How many bodyguards have you had over the course of your career?
I don't know.
Hundreds? Dozens?
No, not hundreds, but I don't know.
Dozens. Okay. Now, Mr.
50 or
Adrian
60.
reported that he had accompanied you between 1991 and 1992 when he was your bodyguard to Epstein's Palm Beach home. Does that sound familiar at all?
Objection, that's not what it says.
That he accompanied Mr. Epstein, Mr. Wexner to Epstein's property.
No, it doesn't say that. Are you looking at the...
EFTA 1249191?
Yeah, it should.
I don't have it in front of me, but
No, it says that he did accompany him, and then it says the bodyguard was at the Epstein residence. It doesn't say the bodyguard was at the Epstein residence with Mr. Wexner.
I'm sorry, did you ever accompany the bodyguard to Epstein's Palm Beach home?
Everywhere I went, I
Okay,
had
so, yeah.
security.
And so would it surprise you then, I believe that this is correct, that the bodyguard said that he noticed a number of young girls there, noticeably young. You've never seen young girls at the Epstein property?
But I was only there once for an hour, and I was there with my wife and another couple.
Okay. I have one last question, and then I'll kick it back. You mentioned a couple of times that you received $20 million for the mansion on 71st Street in Manhattan. How was that money transferred to you?
I don't know.
You don't know. Like, nobody, how do you know it was ever paid to you?
Well, I guess Abigail would have known.
Abigail wouldn't know?
Whether it was a check, whether it was a money order, whether it was, a bag of money. I have no
So
idea.
$20 million, and you just like take someone say so for it.
No, $20 million is a lot of money, and airplanes cost a lot of money too, and I don't know exactly how we pay for them, or if we sold an airplane, exactly how we get paid. But we've bought and sold personally a few airplanes, and you could ask me the same question. I don't know.
And so I think we have a number of media references, New York Times, I think the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, all noting that no cash was transferred at the time of a essential transaction. No exchange of money was noted at the time. So do you have any records, like after the fact, after you learned that Jeffrey Epstein, as you put it, stole from you, did you ever look into how that money was transferred to you?
No.
No, didn't strike your interest, even though you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was stealing from you?
Once I knew he was stealing from me, it was, again, my wife is a very competent business attorney. We have good accountants. I believe good counsel, and that's not what I do. And I don't go back and, if I fired somebody in the business, I didn't follow them to see if they behaved badly again. They were done. That's just
Let me then follow up and ask, did your wife ever mention to you how the money was transferred?
No.
Or that it was transferred?
Objection as to spousal privilege, but he's already answered.
All right, thank you very much then.
Mr. Wexner, Steve Lynch, Massachusetts. How long did you know Mr. Epstein? When did you first meet him?
I think they asked me that question earlier before you joined this group. I think it was like 5 years before I got married, about early 80s, I would guess.
Early 80s?
I think so. I don't remember precisely.
And in all the time that you knew him, and he worked for you, he was your power of attorney, handled a lot of really important things in your life. Do you remember him ever having a romantic interest or women in your presence as his guests or associates?
I mentioned earlier, too, the first one was Dr. Ava Anderson. I met her, and Jeffrey said
When
they,
was that, sir? I'm sorry.
when I first met her, whenever that was,
So 80s?
early
or
80s.
90s, yeah.
And my understanding, because meeting her, is that Ava was a very attractive woman. I think she was in med school, so yeah, and so she was a serious person, and
Yeah.
she is a serious person. She's an oncologist. She's married. She has children.
I get you.
And then I don't know how many years later he broke up with Ava, and Glenn came into his life probably about the time I got engaged, and
When was that, sir?
I got engaged I got engaged on September 8th, 1992, because
Okay.
I got engaged on my birthday.
And so at that point, Mr. Epstein's relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell was romantic at the time.
It was about then that I met her, and they said they were going to get married. And it was, I was getting married, Jeffrey was getting married, so it seemed like, everybody was going to be in Happy Valley in terms of their life. And both women I mean, there were grown-up women. Galen is exactly the same age as Abigail, and very smart. She said she was like an honors graduate of Cambridge or Oxford, and quite charming, and English accent, and an attractive woman. So I was very happy for them.